What's up, buddy?
What's up? So welcome to the Vanguard Realty Alliance agent highlight video. Today we have Noah Scott and Steve Seymour. We will be talking about Noah and his business and learning all about him and how he got started.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to start off by just introducing yourself and tell everyone a little bit about why did you get in real estate in the first place?
Sure. Yeah. Noah Scott. I was fortunate enough to get into real estate in 2017. I got licensed October 2017, but really didn't do anything with my license until about February, March of 2018. And I got into real estate. The cliche story is because I found out about real estate investing, the power of real estate investing, and caught the bug. I wanted to find the quickest way to get into real estate.
Get rich quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you learned out that's not quite true. But I thought the only way to get in, or the quickest and easiest, lowest barrier of entry way, was to get my real estate license, which we could probably talk about that at length, how it's a low barrier to entry. But I was really dedicated to get my license. I forgot the testing material. 2 weeks later, I had all of the course material done. Another 2.5 weeks later, I had the test done. So I was rolling, and I was so excited to get in, but got my license really with no experience in the business, no really background family-wise either. So I was kind of flying on my own and didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. Right around that time, I happened to come to the investor meetup that you used to run in Westchester, and was looking for a broker to hang my license with, and I think kind of just went from there.
Well, you were crazy to come here, but no, it all worked out.
It did.
Yeah. So kind of fast forward now, what do you see for yourself in this business? Where are you taking things? Because I know you've had kind of a shift over the past year. Yeah,
absolutely. So as I mentioned, when I first got started as an agent, my intention was, and I laugh now because I thought it was going to be, you make the 6 figures quick, you do all this stuff, and then you realize that being an agent is I believe it's a very difficult job to do at scale and do well. And there was a lot of learning lessons I had over the past few years. So at that time, I just thought I was going to make a bunch of money and then go invest it. My age and kind of my naivete was showing there. And I learned that maybe that lifelong agent route, just doing the transactions, wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do. I wanted my license and being an agent, the knowledge I gained from that, to augment my experience as an investor. So now, if I were to classify my business, I would say it's a hybrid model of most of my income at this point still comes from the agent side, my active income, whether that's helping first-time home buyers, which has been primarily where most of my transactions have come from. And then, listings as I get older and my client base grows. More recently, though, as my experience as an investor has grown and my knowledge has, I've been helping more investors get into properties as well.
Interesting.
So
by the hybrid, you mean working on the traditional side as well as working the investment side?
And I would even add like another slash to that, and that is being an investor myself.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. You can be the most knowledgeable person in the world, and you've told me this time and time again. You can have all the info, have all the knowledge, know all the theory, but until you really put it into action, it doesn't really matter. So what I've focused on now is, for myself, also finding deals as an investor, getting into the first duplex in March in Phoenixville with my girlfriend, looking off market, going direct to seller to find deals for myself, and then if I can help find deals for other investors too, all the better. But when I say hybrid, I mean looking at it as an agent, but also an investor, and keeping that mindset with me whenever I'm looking at a real estate transaction.
Can you, I know you shared before with me briefly about how taking that approach with sellers as well, like not just going in and trying to put them in a box and say, here's what your house is going to sell for. This is what the market's going to bear, and let's list your house, stick a sign in the yard, throw a lockbox on it, and walk away and get your check.
Right.
And
yeah.
Can you talk about how you've tailored your approach a little bit in terms of working with anyone that's interested in potentially selling their home?
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to think of it as Batman with his tool belt, right? So if you remember the cartoons when we were younger, Batman had a tool for every single scenario he was going to run into. And it looked like his tool belt was infinite. He was always pulling a new gadget out, new this. And I'm not pulling gadgets out. I'm pulling strategies out. So when I meet a seller, I'm thinking, how can I find the best strategy that actually benefits them the most? People think that money is always the number one thing on someone's mind. But I know you've experienced it. Sometimes there are situations where getting top dollar value or getting the most money possible isn't always going to be the best scenario for that person, because it might take 90, 100, 120 days that person doesn't have. Really,
right. Or if their house needs a lot of work or something like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And the benefit as an agent is I can now, because it's my fiduciary duty, as we know, to have that person's best interest in mind. But I think what happens with agents is, like you said, they get in this narrow focus of every home is a listing. Every home has to have a sign in the yard. I'm going to put it on the MLS, et cetera, et cetera. But the truth is, that's not always the best scenario for that person. If their home needs a lot of work, or if their property, couldn't get financing through a mortgage, et cetera, all those different.
So how do you distinguish what is best for them?
Talking with them and really listen. Talking is one part. Listening is the more important part. And I almost caught myself there, because the one thing that you have to do is ask questions. And I learned this from you. I've learned this from, the Sandler method, et cetera. But asking questions and really listening to what they're saying almost without saying it, and then digging in deeper. Most people aren't going to tell you their deepest, darkest secrets, or really what they want or what they need on a 2-minute conversation. And really, they won't do it unless you give them the opportunity and the space to do so. So a big part of that is just asking questions that may be a little uncomfortable. I don't think the comfortable conversations are where the best things in life happen from. But then,
I have to agree.
Yeah. And then additionally, so being in that uncomfortable space, but also being willing to listen. We've talked about it before. Even though I just cut you off kind of, and I'm going to say tongue in cheek now, but how many times do you have a conversation where you realized afterwards you're just waiting to talk instead of actually listening? And that's the overarching theme of where I'm trying to come from with a person that I meet with, whether they're buying, selling, whatever it is, listening.
I actually just signed up in a communication course, and one of the first distinctions is WAIT. And it's an acronym for why am I talking? And, and it's just a really good way to remember that.
Yeah. But
all right, so let's say you got down to the root cause of what someone's real reason for selling is, and you feel like you see some options to help them. What's unique about your hybrid strategy? Can you pinpoint a few different options that you offer people versus just your traditional sale?
Sure. Yeah. There are things that I'm doing right now, and there are things that I want to improve on for the future. So I'll start with what I'm doing right now. I can look at say I'm talking to you. You want to sell your house, and we know that on the market it could sell for $100,000, right? And that's in its current condition. We could have a conversation about whether you're willing to put in some work to increase the value of the property. Do you have the money for that? Is that something you can actually take on with what's going on in your life right now? So that's the retail side, right? Can you end up selling the property on the market and make it an outcome that you're actually happy with, and one's going to give you the ability to reach the goals you're looking to reach? Then as an investor, I can look at it, number one, as a potential fix and flip, right? That's one thing. You can either find a way to purchase it yourself, or you may know other investors who are looking to buy deals directly from sellers. They can give them the number they want. And more importantly, let's say it's a scenario where you need to get out of the house quickly. Listing on the market, you're generally trading time for money, right? Granted, we're in a crazy market right now, so things can happen quick. But if I can get you a guaranteed sale and make it happen in 14, 20, 30 days, guaranteed, you may take that option, the certainty of making it happen fast, so the speed for the convenience. So that's one option. And then there are the creative finance strategies that I've learned from you and other people, things like seller financing, which can really help a seller if they have big tax implications coming down the pike. They can sort of delay some of that tax burden from them by doing what's called an installment sale. If somebody has a mortgage.
So how would someone know if they might fit that mold?
How would I know? Or
if someone was listening and thinking, man, I might want to sell this rental property, but I'm going to have this huge capital gains. How would they know? How would they know if that could be an option?
I think for most people, they're not going to know. And that is part of the conversation.
I got
right?
it. Yeah.
And so part of my job as a, you want to call it whatever you want to call it, an advisor, a guide, we actually can't use the word consultant, I found out, but somebody who actually listens and works for those people on their behalf is I bring those conversations that they might not be having or they might not be thinking about to the forefront. And I think that's where a lot of the value comes in with somebody who has the experience or even just the knowledge to be able to start those conversations. I don't have all the answers. I'm still young. I'm still gaining experience, but
you know a lot more than you give yourself credit for.
Maybe. And a lot of that is a benefit of working around people like you and other investors who have shown me things aren't so static. Everything in real estate is very fluid and dynamic. And opening up those conversations isn't just a way to find more opportunities for you to have as an agent or an investor, but really it's finding more opportunities to help people. And when you shift your mindset to that, that's when I think you actually start having those conversations because you're not afraid of what it looks like with you presenting those opportunities. You actually see it as a value add.
Yeah.
And that's the distinction that actually changed for me over the past few months.
Yeah, the way I kind of see it is it's like a handcrafted transaction where the seller's needs are really at the core focus, where it's not about what can you get out of it, but more what is the best option for them, and then giving them options probably that they've never even considered.
Yep,
right? Because you don't know what you don't know, so you can only operate inside of what's available to your current construct, and you having different knowledge and information available to you by sharing it with them, it gives them the wisdom to make the best choice and give them pathways and let them choose.
You can tell who has more of the experience than I do because he just used all of the 10 minutes I took up in about 30 seconds. But yes, absolutely.
Well, it's just a great way to kind of look at it because, you know, like you said, the word you said is fiduciary. And it's as an agent and an investor, you still always have to put your clients at you know, their interest at above your own commission, above your own profit. You have to be others focused. That's part of as being a realtor, which is such a great thing. And as an investor, now you get to bring on all these extra strategies that could potentially make the deal just so much sweeter for them or easier or whatever it is. And 9 times out of 10, it is going to make sense to list the house.
Yes,
right.
Especially in a market like this right now.
It's usually different scenarios, but it's really cool that you get to do that. So that's really, in a nutshell, really what your hybrid model is. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's where I think the value comes from. You know, there are 1,000 different ways to go about working in this business. It's just what I've found resonates with me, and it's where I actually feel that I can deliver value.
Yeah,
that's really all of this, right? That's what we do.
Yeah, it's very fulfilling too. You know, I'm very much in line with it, and I completely get it. So, just want to acknowledge you for that because that's really awesome. And now you're taking some steps, really getting yourself in the investor game as well as leading our investor meeting, right? So once a month, Noah leads the Vanguard Real Estate Investors meeting where we bring in different speakers who share knowledge and information really to help impact lives, to help create wealth and financial freedom.
Yep, absolutely.
That's our mission as a brokerage. So we appreciate you being on today. Is there anything else you want to share about or just anything that someone might want to know about potentially working with you or how you could potentially help them?
Sure. You know, this isn't so much for working with me, but when we're talking about bringing value and giving different options to sellers, I was thinking about it in a lot of agents are afraid to take the step into opening up those different conversations because we've talked about it before. If you're just an agent, generally speaking, you're on a transaction hamster wheel, right? Everything, you're always looking for the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. But if you're willing to give people other options that may not result in you getting a transaction or another client, that's the abundance mindset. Being more focused on giving them the best option versus what's coming back to you. Focus on that. And the last thing I would say is if you haven't read the book, The Go-Giver, read it. It changed a lot of how I view business and view how I interact with people. If you want to work with me, great. But if you could just do those two things, focus on that, focus on the people first, what their outcome is, and read The Go-Giver, my time here will be worth it for sure.
That's awesome. I just want to add, stop chasing transactions and deals.
Yep.
Start helping people.
Yep.
Solving problems. Solve bigger problems. Get paid big checks.
Absolutely.
And that's really what I hear in what you just said. And I can see you not just talking about it, but being about it and preaching. You know, you're preaching it now, but you're really practicing it in reality.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks
for listening. We
Thank
hope
you
we
guys.
didn't bore you. Please reach out if anything we said and you resonate with this. No, Scott, you want to reach out. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Best way is probably Instagram. It's at Noah Scott 610. You can reach me there. I'll just add this because I should have had this in the last things I want to say. I could have started my real estate career anywhere. And they're not paying me for this plug. This is 100% organic. I could have started anywhere, gone to any office, and maybe had similar experiences. But what I can tell you for sure at our brokerage, at Vanguard Realty Alliance, is you will be exposed to more ways to successfully operate a real estate business than anywhere I've seen. I've gone to other brokerages. It's funny. I left this brokerage and came back to it. And
welcome home, prodigal son.
Exactly.
Kidding.
All the prodigal son. He did welcome me back, but he didn't say prodigal son, oddly enough. No, I just want to say that, like, if you're looking at options, whether you're a newly licensed agent or you're someone thinking about what other options are out there, you really won't find an environment like we get here. So I want to commend you for that. Commend Sean behind the camera over there for creating an environment like this that allows people to be agents, find out about the investing game, pursue it with the help and the guidance of experienced investors like we have here.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thanks for the plug. I'll slip you some money here.
Yep.
No, but if anything we said resonates with you and you kind of feel stuck in your business, like you hit the glass ceiling, you're looking for something else, especially if you're interested in creating financial freedom through real estate, specifically around investing, we'd love to, reach out, talk to us, see if we're a good fit to work together. And you can reach out directly on our website through vralliance.com or through our Facebook page. Just search us and, send us a message and we'll make sure someone reaches out. All right. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
See you guys.
See ya.